Today's shout out is for Zuldinga. Maelstrom Wanderer versus Kwain, Ishkanah and Aesi. Got 2 lands there, including this. I've been struggling getting into lands in this 38 land deck in the recent games, but we've got plenty of ramp there, so hopefully we won't struggle this game. We start the game off. We'll get down the hinterland harbour. We can go for an untapped mountain. Oh, and I've just passed through the turn. Oh my god, Magic Online. Okay, discard Delirium Primordial. Sakura Tribelder for Ishkanah being cracked straight away. And Kwain hitting the battlefield on turn 2. Right, carefully. Not skip our turn this time. We draw into Garruk's Uprising. It was a Ristic Study last turn. So played the 3 visits, getting the Tricycle land into play tapped. Kodama's Reach for Aesi. Kessig Recluse, a Spider with Reach and Death Touch. Sensei's Top for Kwain. And just holding up the ability on their commander, holding up a couple of blue mana as well. We draw into Boundless Realms, would much rather cascade into that for obvious reasons. We'll get down the land. Bolt land can come in tapped. And play Sakura Tribelder. No, Topiary Stomper is a better use of our mana here. Argument to be made for us getting down the Garruk's Uprising first, but I think we're a few turns away from that. Rather just ramp here. Tatyova down for Aesi. Now's the time to try and get rid of that. Mulch will reveal the top 4 cards, all lands into hand and the rest in the bin. So in the bin we see Skullwinder, Heraldic Banner and Sky Snare Spider. Then casting a Harrow, sacrificing one of their swamps. Kwain spinning the Sensei's Top, and then activating Kwain. We'll all draw a card. A land here would be nice. Alright, excellent, and gets us into an island. Monastery Siege into play. Khan's been chosen, so at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card and discard. Annoyingly, if I hadn't skipped that turn, we'd have an extra land out here, and we would have cracked Sakura Tribelder already, so we could have gone for the Boundless Realms. We do draw into Mana Vault though. Definitely play the land. We'll be able to set up blocking with the Topiary Stomper if we go for Sakura Tribelder. I think it's still just Ristic Study and Sakura Tribelder. And then we're likely going for our commander next turn. Don't think we can get out the Garruk's Uprising first. If we make a land between now and next turn, then we will be able to actually, thanks to the Mana Vault. Is an Abundance, and they do have the mana held up for the Ristic Study. Playing a land into Tatyova, and they choose land there, so revealing a Cultivate, a Spore Mound, get themselves into an island. Can't play an additional land here. Well, no they can, they go for Explore, which they can't pay the tax on, so we get into a land, that's really good. And they chose non-land that time, so Slin Voda is in the hand now. Playing the island, and this time getting themselves a Terramorphic Expanse, which will obviously be landfall twice. I've drawn into a Bribery as well, by the way, thanks to the Ristic Study. Aurum Reef the Vastwood for the Spider player. And there we see Ishkanah, Graph Widow, and they do pay for the tax, I think. Getting 3 spiders, can't tap down the Aurum Reef the Vastwood, unfortunately. Sensei's Top being spun once again by the Azorius player. And then tapping down the Kwain once again. So that draws us into an Acidic Slime. So we see that Tatyova drew them into a Woodland Stream, or that was the Abundance that got them into a land there. Cavalier of Gales, and once again we're going to draw a card with the Ristic Study. That gets us into Terror of the Peaks, which will be good with the Tatyova. We're just not ramping far enough ahead for my liking at the moment. Might want to take another turn off for the Boundless Realms, which is dangerous with all this mana available. So we'll crack the Sakura Tribelder for a mountain. Okay, that is a Goreclaw. Play the Blighted Woodland, play the Mana Vault, play Boundless Realms, and we're hopefully going to get ourselves into a bunch of lands. That land straight away, so there's no counter magic from the Cynic player. This is 8 lands we get to search up here. So it's all of our mountains, all of our islands, all but 3 of our forests. So only 3 basics left is worth noting. And then do we hold up Krosan Grip or do we go for Garruk's Uprising? Probably best to hold up the Krosan Grip. Swinging at the Simic player because we do have Vigilance on this thing and highly doubt they're going to block with the Tatyova. Drawing themselves into a Spitting Image this time. I imagine they get down their commander here. Yep, so we see Aesi that will be an additional land. Draws us into Kiki-Jiki, playing the Woodland Stream, which comes in tapped. We've already seen that. And they draw some cards thanks to the 2 commanders, taking an island off the top, and then revealing a whole bunch of stuff until they get into the Vivid Creek. Then playing the Terramorphic Expanse we've already seen, so once again revealing some stuff to us. That is a Tromokratis this time, and a Sol Ring. Playing the Sol Ring, as you would expect, they can't pay the tax, so draw us into Emoti. And they don't have a max hand size here, so discarding the Vivid Creek, the island they've just got into, and also a retreat to Kazandu as well. Arachne Spinner, and the tax being paid on that one. Kwain not having us draw again at the end of the turn. Just hoping at this point that I actually make use of the Krosan Grip. Not going to use it just because I've held it up, but yeah, maybe should have gone for Garruk's Uprising. Haven't been keeping an eye on their discard pile actually. They've got rid of 2 planes at the moment. Now Kwain being activated, and we get ourselves into another land. Seeing Simic Sky Swallower go to the bottom, they get themselves into another land in a forest. Now it's Oath of Teferi, that's one that might eat a Krosan Grip. I was actually looking over at the abundance here, but I think the Oath of Teferi is going to be a lot scarier if they get a Planeswalker into play. It might just be in here as a bounce effect, but yeah, anyway, they bounce the Knight back to hand before they swing in with that. Would have thought they'd want to deal 5 damage to something. So, in response to the Oath of Teferi trigger, let's get rid of that enchantment right now. Noteworthy that Krosan Grip is one of the few spells that can get rid of Sensei's Top as well, because they can't add the ability to the stack. No more Flicker shenanigans with the Oath of Teferi anyway. Certainly no Planeswalker shenanigans. Cavalier will allow them to brainstorm. Discarding a Blessed Sanctuary at the end of the upkeep, so yeah, it looks like it's some kind of Flicker deck, this one. Having 1 damage dealt to us by the Mana Vault. That is a Sarkhan's Unsealing, so yeah, I was looking to go crazy with Kiki-Jiki and Terror of the Peaks this turn. That's made much easier by Sarkhan's Unsealing, so yeah, let's go for that. Sarkhan's Unsealing first of all. Then it can probably be Goreclaw because it makes our Terror of the Peaks cost 2 less. So that says Sarkhan's Unsealing can deal 4 damage to the Tatyova. Cracking the Terramorphic Expanse before then to get a bunch of triggers with their 2 creatures. Revealing a Command Tower. We do have a Forest in there as well, but I dare say they'll get that out next turn. Then bypassing Blighted Woodland and getting into a Walking Atlas. Successfully getting rid of Tatyova. Play out the Terror of the Peaks. That will be 4 damage once again. So the 4 damage can go on to... let's just put it on the Kwain here. Then it's Kiki-Jiki. And that enters the battlefield. That is equal to its power, 2 damage. Might as well just put it on a token. And then we'll tap down the Kiki-Jiki, bringing out a copy of... yeah, it'll have to be Terror of the Peaks because we want to deal 5 damage to the Aesi. So the copy of Terror of the Peaks triggers the original, and it's equal to power, so that's 5 damage to the Aesi. Shame that we didn't have the Garruk's Uprising in play. Probably should have played that during the previous turn instead of holding up the grip. We'll try and get them to block with the Cavalier because we're going to lose the Terror of the Peaks anyway. Oh, actually should have swung in with the Topiary Stomper as well. Forgot that has Vigilance. Should have gone in over here at the Simic player. Okay, successfully getting them to block with that, surprisingly. So they're shuffling it into the owner's library and then going for a Scry 2. And if the board stays the same as it is now, we are really well set up for the next turn. Even if the board does get wiped, we're looking pretty good. Revealing a Ramanap Excavator this time from the Abundance. There's a Terastodon, so yeah, I dare say we're going to lose some stuff here. Draw us into a Command Beacon. They can't get rid of Terror of the Peaks, so they'll have to be careful what they blow up on our side here. Well, they give us 2 Lightning Bolts. Getting rid of the Sensei's Top probably won't land. Unless this player wants a 3-3, yep, they go for the tap, draw, and put it on top. Got a surprising amount of draw from that Rhystic Study, but that is going to go down here. Some Lightning Bolts. We can put it on the Ishkanah, I think. Commune with the Gods for the Golgari player. They do have the Arachne Spinner held up now as well. And then it's Sudden Reclamation, mill 4, return a creature and land from graveyard to hand. So they targeted there a Seedborn Muse and a Forest. Can't afford the Seedborn Muse, thankfully. Seeing in their bin, a bunch of lands, an Infernal Grasp, Ancient Craving, and a Penumbra Spider. And there we see the Arachnus Web going on to the Kiki Jiki, as it probably should. Luckily we've got the Acidic Slime for that. Looting with the enchantment again, that is Inner Sanctum being discarded. And then playing a Shatter the Sky, yeah, it's about right for a board wipe here, and that's probably why they blocked with the Cavalier before. We get into a Reliquary Tower, which will definitely be the land we play next turn. Was never likely we were going to keep this board intact though. Maybe the Simic player, yeah, didn't think it was likely that they were going to counter that. Replaying the Sensei's Top that they drew into this turn. Ominous Seas, looking to draw a lot of cards and make some 8/8 creatures. The Simic player is holding up priority here, so it might be time for us to start looking at our commander, because we're not really worried about that getting countered. We still get the Cascade triggers. Draw into another land in Reflecting Pool. Drop the Reliquary Tower, we'll play out the Garruk's Uprising. Priority not being held up by the Simic player anymore. So we will play out Emoti, that does have Cascade, it won't trigger the enchantment unfortunately. That gets us into Shadow Spear though, so should be out of reach of our opponents for taking our life total down if we're lucky. Might even equip that this turn. Play ourselves a Maelstrom Wanderer, we get 3 Cascade triggers, 2 from the commander and 1 from Emoti. And that is a Genesis Ultimatum, can't say much better than that. So that cascades thanks to the Emoti, which gets us into a Muldrifter. Enters and draws us 2. That was a Beseju as well as Nezahal. And yeah, we put any number of permanents into play here, so it is Scroll Rack, a Coma, Sensei's Top, and Steam Vents. We will pay 2 for the Steam Vents because I don't think our life total is looking particularly bad at the moment. Garruk's Uprising draws us a card thanks to the Coma. So we've got Decimate in hand as well as the Prime Speaker Zagana and an infinite hand size. That is a Dockside Extortionist off the Cascade. Not the best Dockside Extortionist, but we don't get nothing out of it. And then a Greater Good, so yeah, really going off here, getting into all the card draw stuff. So Maelstrom Wanderer will enter and give all of this stuff haste. Does draw us a card with the Garruk's Uprising as well. And there's a Worldly Tutor, which will be handy when we start to go crazy with Cascades again. Equip the Shadow Spear up to... yeah, that can go on our commander. Encourage our opponents to remove it or bounce it back to our hand. Swinging the small things straight down the middle. Maelstrom Wanderer goes in at the left, Coma goes in at the right. Argument to be made for going for bribery on the Simic player for something big there, but yeah, I think maybe I should still do it. I'm not particularly worried about playing anything, to be honest. Maybe we just hold up Scroll Rack. You can hold up Worldly Tutor, hold up Sensei's Top, hold up the Beseju as well. Yeah, we'll just do that. Coma triggers at the beginning of every upkeep. I was actually looking at whether or not I should put the Garruk's Uprising or the Elemental Bond into play. And we're losing a lot of card draw triggers here with the claws being 4 power that we need, so maybe put Elemental Bond in here instead. Depends how relevant the trample is on that. Scourge the Fleets being revealed by the Simic player. And yeah, this one has decided to scoop. Not sure why they've scooped. There's a black player here that could have a board wipe. They do have a full grip. Okay, a Spitting Image being put onto the Emoti. And they can retrace that. And then playing out an Avenger of Zendikar, which does have Cascade thanks to the Emoti. They did play a land before this, I think, so I don't think they'll get a bunch of big plants. That gets them into an Acidic Slime. Acidic Slime pointed, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Pointed at the Greater Good. So, do we just make use of the Greater Good here? No, I'm just going to leave it. We've got the Worldly Tutor. I might go for Balefire Dragon with this. And then we can wipe out all these plant tokens and, well, every creature here, basically. So, Avenger of Zendikar lands. They do get rid of the Greater Good. And I wish I'd said it now. Yeah, Decree of Pain, I was just thinking it would be really good. When I saw them tapping all the mana, I thought this will be really good if it's a Decree of Pain. We've just lost our sack outlet as well, annoyingly, so we can sacrifice some Combs Coils at least. give our coma indestructible. Does save us from going for a board wipe at least. Our commander goes back to the command zone, they wipe the board for us, and they went up to 25 cards in hand there, so I'm sure they'll be grateful to dump a bunch of stuff in the graveyard, and following up the end of the turn with a rampant growth. So now we can go for Worldly Tutor, set up our next draw, puts a creature on top. Why don't we just make it a Nyxbloom Ancient then? They discard a bunch of stuff to hand size. I'll just zoom in and you can look at the card names if you want to, because I'm sure they discarded a lot of stuff there. We draw into the Nyxbloom Ancient, of course, so let's go for Reflecting Pool, and we'll get down our triple mana. That triggers the Garruk's Uprising, so we will draw from that. Okay, Cyclonic Rift really puts us in a good position here. And this is where we benefit from not cracking any of the treasures on the previous turn into the board wipe. Let's go for the Maelstrom Wanderer. Cascades us only twice this time thanks to Emoti going down. We do get a free Inferno Titan though. Inferno Titan going to concentrate on the Simic player here. We draw another card, that is Yavimaya this time. And then it is Skyshroud Claim. I'm sure we've got other lands that we can go in for here. I think there's plenty of Duels left. So that can be a Tiger and a Tropical Island. Will come in untapped and tap for 3 mana apiece. Draw with the Garruk's Uprising again. This time it is Avenger of Zendikar, which has the potential for being really good with haste from our commander, so we'll play it. Made a land already this turn, which I maybe should have waited on. Draw from the Garruk's Uprising again, get a hell of a lot of plant tokens. Now it is Sylvan Library we've drawn into. Might as well play the Nezahal here, I think. Drawing into a Sol Ring. So I'll play the Sol Ring. That taps for 6 mana. Let's go Bribery onto the Simic player. Client's starting to drag here, so hopefully it doesn't crash on us. I think we just go for Azusa here, because it's useful with our landfall. So play Command Beacon. Triggers the landfall on the Avenger of Zendikar, of course, putting a plus counter on all this. Do the same with the Yavimaya. Play out the Prime Speaker Ishkanah. Not trying to play solitaire against my opponents, I'm just trying to land as much damage on the board as possible so that we can maybe win this turn. Draw equal to power with the Prime Speaker Ishkanah. So 30 cards left in the library. Play out the Mana Crypt. We've got the Crystal Shard available to us now as well to do some more Cascade stuff. So play out the Crystal Shard, return our Maelstrom Wanderer back to hand, replay the Maelstrom Wanderer. That cascades us twice, and it's a Kodama's Reach. Might as well cast it. I'm not sure we have any basics left. We did have 3, oh, we've still got the 3 forests. So that land falls on the Avenger of Zendikar again. And then it is a Brainstorm, so probably just dump some lands on top. That is a Mana Reflection. Yep, just throw some lands on. Draw back into one of the lands. Shuffle those lands around. We'll get out a tapped Stomping Ground. Actually, might as well just have it come into play untapped. Not too worried about life. Triggers the plant tokens again. We'll go for Farseek to do the same thing. Oh, and actually nothing to grab with the Farseek. So with the mana, we'll put it onto the Maelstrom Wanderer again. And we might be able to carry on here, but my opponents are being very patient, so I'll go through to attacks. So all these tokens going in over here, and the rest in at the other player. And the Avenger of Zendikar and Azusa is really what allowed us to get the victory here. Could have put Fire Breathing into the Inferno Titan as well, and I'm sure that might have got rid of a player. And there we go, we get the victory. My opponent's being really good sports there. The other player quit early because his baby woke up apparently, so that's fair enough. Yeah, drawing into too many cards, which isn't always a bad problem to have, but might be worth putting some kind of Time Twister, Echo of Eons in the library of some kind. Although we could cascade into that and draw our opponents, so yeah, not sure. Maybe an Eldrazi or something to shuffle the library. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed this revisit to Maelstrom Wanderer. It is ever a powerful commander. If you want to see more from it, then let me know. Massive thank you to the patrons for supporting the channel. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.